It's nothing but fear out there as just a little kid, no real father figure around. Fear was something that was with me since childhood.
Oh, I drank probably 25 years. 25 years. Started when I was 18. Over half my life, I was a slave to alcohol. I couldn't cope with anything if I couldn't have a drink. I couldn't think, I couldn't feel, I couldn't do anything because I was so dependent on it.
Isolation, living two different lives.
I was sexually abused by my father, going through depression, going through anxiety, drinking at a young age of 16, started doing drugs.
I lived 39 years of my life as a chameleon. I was whoever I needed to be based on whoever I was with. I was chasing the cheers of everybody, and I was scared to death of being rejected. I had this colossal fear of rejection, but this massive desire for affirmation.
I was 16 when my addiction first started, and by 18 I was a daily IV heroin user. Over the years it transitioned from working and stealing to working, stealing, and using people.
I would question God, like, God, why aren't you answering prayers? All right, I'm just gonna do my own thing, God. You know, I'm gonna do what feels right. You know, I know it's wrong.
Drugs and alcohol definitely were my thorns for many years. Anxiety or fear or worry or whatever. Alcohol and drugs definitely took care of those. The anxiety really didn't leave. They just subsided for a little while, and they were still with me.
When pride manifested itself inside of me, I had to be in control of everything in my life. And I was actually turning people away from me at work and making them not want to work with me. I had people quitting the job and things like that. And
I was very deceitful and vengeful.
I grew up poor in a large family. It made me feel that where I was in my life wasn't adequate.
I was 18 years old when I graduated from marijuana to cocaine. And it got to the point where I would try any and everything, whatever I could get my hands on.
The low moment for me was laying in a hospital bed after I had been beaten and mugged and near death kind of experience.
The bottom of the pit led me to jail. It led me into homelessness. It led me into sexual immorality.
We're sitting on the side of the highway and contemplating whether or not I should throw myself in front of the next vehicle that came by, because I could not escape this affliction, this chain that was just wrapped around me and my life.
I got the phone call that Mom was having a heart attack, and I hadn't prayed to God in probably years at that point. And I just realized at that point there was nothing I could do to help the situation. And then it fast forwarded a couple of months later, my dad was dying in the hospital. I realized that I really couldn't. I couldn't do it by myself. It wasn't in my control anymore.
Ran out of the booze at the house. I decided to walk to the side of the 101 freeway in LA. I found a sign on the side of the road. I picked it up. I started panhandling. I never panhandled in my life. This is what I am now. This is what I've become. I was just so demoralized.
I was in a room by myself. I needed God desperately. I needed to know that I was where I was supposed to be.
I think the lowest point was when I had my bicycle accident, when I was pushed into a tree. I think at that point God got my attention, and it was like, I didn't have anybody. Nobody knew about it other than my wife and my kids. And
My pit was trying to remember and keep up with whatever persona I portrayed that I was at that time, because I was chasing that pursuit of perfection, scared to death of being rejected, needing so much to be affirmed.
Overly relying on alcohol or drugs to escape the reality of the failures. I drank myself into a blackout. I passed out in the middle of the street. A lady called the ambulance for me. She thought I was dead.
I fell into a deep depression throughout my high school and college. I held it in for all these years.
This group, MPACT group, was a tremendous thing for me. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without you guys and without MPACT.
When I realized that Christ was going to help me, save me, I got baptized, And I felt like the weight was lifted off of me.
When I look at life now, I don't look at it as with no hope, right? There's hope now. I know where I'm going. I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Christ in me makes me feel full, makes me feel loved. And I don't need your cheers anymore. So I don't need to chase those cheers anymore because Christ in me has worked it all out.
I'm finally able to save money and start to become financially stable.
I have a peace now that I didn't know I could have before. And I'm able to rest in the Lord's grace.
Even though man will fail me, I'm not looking to any one person. I'm focusing on Jesus. But the key is to not give up and to keep diving in.
In Jesus, I'm not just a little bit improved. He doesn't just tidy us up, but I am a new creation, completely transformed in him. And so that old me, who was so guilty and so full of shame and regret, didn't exist anymore. And here I am, a new creation.
It led me to the Cedar Rescue Mission, gave me an opportunity to step out of the world for a while and step into Jesus, step into that relationship with him, with other men who had the same experiences as me, having those same feelings and those same human failings that a relationship with God is the cure for.
I'm excited for what God has for me, because I'm all in with him. He has my whole heart. He has already given me my peace, my joy, which the world cannot give me. So the world can't take it away.
I'm Jonathan.
My name is Michael.
I'm Steve.
I'm Wayne.
I'm Jeremy.
My name is Gary Miracle.
I'm Sam.
I'm Eric.
I'm Brandon.
I'm James.
I'm Charles.
I'm Chris.
And I'm passionate about Christ.